Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here, today with a live reaction replay of the newly improved Colombo, the Tier 10 Italian tech line battleship. She was one of the many ships that received a buff in Update 13.1, and she was most definitely one that needed a little bit of love. So what was buffed on the Colombo? Well, the Sigma for the main battery guns was increased from 1.5 to 1.6. Now, that's going from essentially absolutely terrible to just downright bad, but it is an improvement. The rear turret angles were also increased by 10 degrees, and she got a little bit of a buff to her rudder shift time. Let me lower my headphones before I blow out my eardrums like last time. There we go. So, this ship is a ship that has always been the highlight of the Italian battleship line for me, but even, in previous iterations, she was still kind of just an okay tier 10 battleship where if the stars aligned and RNG favored you, you could get some pretty goofy salvos with her 16-15-inch guns that are equipped with SAP. But they have been slowly improving her main battery performance. They shaved off some of her reload time. Now they've improved her Sigma. And this is something that's happened to most of the lower tier Italian battleships. I was wondering if they were ever going to do it with the Colombo. If you look at the changelog for like the tier 8 through the tier 5 Italian battleships, they have been slowly cranking their Sigma up because, of course, when you're dealing with large caliber SAP that does an absolutely ludicrous amount of damage, you don't want to crank that up all the way and have just an absolutely cracked ship, right? So I understood it was going to take some time before they actually got to the Colombo on that, but they have done it finally. This is Plunder, by the way, playing his Colombo. He sent in this replay to me, and if you're new here, this is a live reaction replay. This is how I do my replay videos. I don't watch them in advance. You don't get some previewed, pre-screened commentary on the gameplay footage. This is all a genuine reaction to whatever goes on in the game. Now, he has an arms race, which is always a source for, let's say, some goofy replays, right? With all the buffs applied and such, you can get some absolutely silliness going on in the game. And right now, I mean, hey, look, it's almost 3 minutes in and no one's dead yet. That is a broadside Venezia right there, though. So Plunder aims for his upper armor and lets his guns rip. And you can tell the pattern is a little bit tighter there with the dispersion, but as you can see, still, yeah, not fantastic. So it's not like they've cranked up her Sigma to 2.1 or something. Still 1.6, still not that great, but again, with 16 guns, you're throwing enough stuff at the wall to get it to fit, to fit. What was I thinking? But yeah, okay, so you got a Conqueror there at 18 kilometers. You have a Fantastique from 9.5. I'm shouting, I'm to shoot the lay Fantastique, but you see the hold that thought. Rhode Island. Oh, you got the AP in the tubes for the Rhode Island, and there you go, 33,000 damage. She might only have 15-inch guns, but she has 16 of them. But anyway, you might have been shouting at him to shoot the lay Fantastic there, and well, he had AP loaded, so that's definitely not what you want to waste your AP shells on. But even if he had SAP loaded, because you might be thinking, well, SAP's great for dealing with destroyers. I've seen destroyers get deleted by Venezia caliber SAP, so surely Colombo caliber SAP would just, evaporate a destroyer, right? Well, no, because Wargaming has a system in place where if a shell is above a certain size, 280 millimeters, I believe, it only does 10% of its maximum alpha to destroyers, and that is included with SAP caliber guns. So unfortunately, the Italian BBs, they aren't destroyers of destroyers, unfortunately, as awesome as that would be. But yeah, I mean, it still has a high alpha, right? So it's going to hurt, and if you get most of your 16 shells to hit to the destroyer, it is most definitely not going to have a good time. But you're not going to just Thanos snap it off the map. Things are not going well for the friendly team so far. They are falling behind in the buffs. That's a very nice salvo there on the Conqueror. But unfortunately, 15-inch guns and the Conqueror was angled, plus the dispersion, right? But yeah, things are not going too well for the for the friendly team right now. They are up on kills by 1, but the enemy team is picking up more of their buffs. The I-56 is probably dead. Never mind. We probably is still dead here from the airstrikes, but he did get the Ismo there. Let's see, get 1, 2 on him, kind of, but he is stuck at the surface because the I-56 does have an incredibly short battery charge. And yeah, there you go. Plunder just removed most of his HP, and then secondary is going to take care of him. Why is he not diving? He has enough. Oh, he's going out Rambo style with his guns. He does have that small heal going on with the buff, but there you go. So, oh, that's actually a secondary kill. Look at that. So, Plunder manages to pick up a secondary kill there, but a kill is a kill that activates Sansanetti's commander talent, which has now extended his main battery gun range. So is AP loaded in the tubes. Very interesting. I mean, he does have the broadside of the Alabama there, so yeah. Typically, in most Italian battleships, you'd want to keep SAP loaded because... Nicely done. Because SAP will pin, you know, pretty much wherever you hit the ship, except for like the main armor belt. So you hit the superstructure, you hit the extremities, it's going to pin, it's going to do a lot of damage because it's SAP, and it's great at pinning lightly armored portions of the ship. So you want to keep that loaded, right? And with the accuracy of the guns especially. So, but Plunder's keeping his AP loaded for now. I mean, it's been working for him, so I'm not going to question him too much there. Alright, Lay Fantastic. This got to be a dead Lay Fantastic right there. Yep, there you go. Yeah, definitely when, you know, 7 kilometers away and the thing's at 7,000 HP, by all means, please shoot it, right? Alright, so there he goes. He has a broadside booster there as well. He might be able to pull that off. The booster's so thinly armored that the armor might just, you know, be too thin for the shells to arm. Definitely something you'd want to use SAP on, but he is also slightly angled, and that angle does give the armor an increased effective thickness, right? So it might be enough for the AP to actually arm on the target. Look at those groupings. That's so much better. Oh, this is a dead booster. This is a dead man right here. Oh, come on, game. 6 overpins still. He's very steeply angled, and the man still gets 6 overpins and only 1 pin. Now, the 1 pin was a Citadel, right? So that's the one that really matters. But come on, game. Man, no armor really is best armor in this game. Okay, let's see if he can finish him off here. I would have swapped to SAP because for sure it's a couple of taps with SAP, and that'd be a dead booster. But, I mean, let's see if it works. If it works, right, fellas? There you go. It did work. All right. So 6K there and a Citadel hit. And 1 dead booster. So in terms of kills, the enemies is a little bit behind the friendly team by 1 kill. But again, they do have all those boosters, and as the game goes on, especially with that passive heal going on, that's going to become a more and more noticeable difference. But the enemy team has also ran very far down south, away from where the buffs do spawn. So they're going to have a pretty tough time picking up anymore, except for over there in the southeast group of those islands. You have a good group of enemy ships down there. Alright, so let's see. Alabama, 12 kilometers away, broadside on. Plunder is trying to get out there and clap him. And you have a Conqueror from 10 kilometers away. I would go for him first because you want to get the zombie out of the match, right? Let's see. How angled is the Conqueror? Conqueror is pretty steeply angled. Yeah, go for the Alabama. And again with the AP, skadoosh, 29K on an Alabama. Good lord! I like how he's following his shells with his camera, like he's trying to guide them into their target location. And I 100% feel that. I kind of do that too when I'm aiming. But yeah, all right. So I mean, hey, what do I know? AP's working now. All right. So Conqueror in Alabama, and he's got a Venezia over here in the smoke. They're both pretty steeply angled. I was going to say I'd swap to SAP, but you guys are probably tired of hearing me say that. Alright, Venezia from 9 kilometers away, pretty steeply angled as well. He's down to 31K, and he has another 30 seconds before his hill comes off the cooldown. Alright, letting it rip there on the Venezia. Oh, God, this is a dead Venezia, isn't it? Oh, no, 18K again. I felt like that should have been a deletion. But, I mean, it's still a very nice salvo there. So, 18K on the Venezia. He's down to his last 19,000 HP. But, again, with the passive heal going, it's like he popped his own heal right there. Yeah. So, oh, good lord. This man doesn't learn. He got away with it once. See if he can get away with it a second time. He might be able to turn out just in time. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, clipping for 9K there. Pretty solid salvo there. 157,000 damage done so far and 3 kills. Let's see. There's a Shimakaze in the A-cap and an Oland in the A-cap with the friendly team. Oh, look, that Yambi on the eastern side of the map is going to pick up the enemy team's second healing boost. Very convenient that it spawned right there in front of the enemy team. So yeah, again, definitely with the late stage of this game, that passive heal is going to really start to make the difference here, I believe, as we go on, unless the enemy team just absolutely fumbles it. And granted, they aren't in the cap circle, which is most definitely where you want to be, because if you do capture the cap circle, you get that insane 10 points a tick income. So that's something that you most definitely want to secure if you can. The Olin looks like it's just sailing on top of the S-189. It's probably about to blow him out of the water here in a second. You got a Shimanto and a Lo Yang in the cap as well, with a Bismarck for support. And then you got Plunder out here trying to deal with these guys. So, and the Palmer has been seen in a hot minute. That's a terrifying tier 9 at close range. I would assume, I mean, if I was that Palmer player, I'd be heading back to the A cap to get my secondaries in the fight and help secure that cap. But I'm not exactly sure where this fella's heading for the moment. Lo Yang does take out the Shimakaze. Does that allow them to start taking the A cap back? No, because the other Oland, the Oland is still in the cap somewhere. Launches spotter plane to get an additional couple of kilometers of range. Lets his guns go on the Venezia. Looks like a pretty good salvo here and a broadside Venezia, but he does manage to take out the Des Moines before Plunder shells arrive and remove 12,000 HP from his health pool. Shimanto does take out the Yami. They're still not able to cap the A cap because that Oland is still somewhere around. And it's like Plunder is looking to finish off this Venezia here. Let's see if he can manage to do that. Palmer finally back on the map, and he is heading west into the cap zone. Man, so this is why you don't really want to run too far, because if you see what these ships have done down south, they've taken themselves essentially out of the fight. Like, they're still able to shoot into the cap circle, but they are not in there capping, which is what you need to happen at this point, right? And they have, two passive heals right now going for it. The Conqueror, man, still taking out the Bismarck, though. So, I don't know. I mean, like, you can take out the enemy ships all you want, but if you can't get your ships into the cap, like this poor Olin has been trying to do for the past 2 or 3 minutes at this point, what are you doing at that point? And, there you go. The Shimanto does take out the Olin. Broadside Venezia. Let's see if, man, this Venezia's been surviving for a lot longer than he should have been. Lead's looking a little short, but might tap him on the stern. It does for just a mere 1,500 HP. Okay, so let's see. Friendly team getting very close. Well, I say very close. They're 1/4 done. But Palmer takes out the friendly Venezia, yanking the points back in the favor of the enemy team. Palmer should now start making his way into the cap circle. That's going to be very unfortunate for the Shimanto. Venezia is still just living rent-free in Plunder's head at this moment. The Alabama and the Conqueror have fallen off of detection for now. Probably just trying to sneak up and get close into the action as possible. Alright, so let's see. Will this finally be the last we hear of the Venezia? He smokes up. And there you go. High caliber and a dead Venezia. Ooh, Lo Yang is not looking too good. Neither is the S-189, nor is the Shimanto. And you've got a quarter health Palmer that has a passive heal working his way back to the cap. But Plunder is also back in the cap with his 16, 15-inch guns. Let's see how this goes. This Palmer comes out broadside. Probably not going to go too well for him. Nope. I think this is a dead Palmer in here. And he's kind of angled, but matters not. There's Kraken unleashed, 5 kills with the Palmer down. But the Colombo, the Palmer did take out the S-189, so there goes their submarine. And speaking of zombies, here comes the Conqueror finally. 12 kilometers away, almost at full HP, but showing Plunder his broadside. And, ooh, this is going to be a lot of damage right here one way or the other. There you go, 26k damage done. That is Confederate. That is enough to pop Cincinnati's main battery reload skill. So now he has an improved main battery reload. Let's see how quick is the Colombo's reload now, because it's got like a 32-second base reload. Let's see what this does bring it down to. And that heal you see the Conqueror on right now, that is the passive heal. That is not his main heal. His main heal is way more terrifying than that. Let's take out the Shimanto now. So look at this. They've managed to come back out of nowhere, out of the Badlands where the Conqueror and the Alabama were chilling at. They managed to roll up and wipe out all but 3 of the remaining friendly ships. Now, the Lo Yang's really low. The Mecklenburg, I have no clue what he's at, but he's way the hell back there. And then you have Plunder and his Conqueror, and his Colombo at the cap. Okay, so they did just secure the cap. So now they're going to get 10 points every tick. So this is going to be a quite bit of an income for the friendly team. So the enemy team has to get into the cap and do something about that. Broadside Conqueror, no citadels, but 16k. Ooh, man, and look at that. Yeah, Plunder does not have a lot of health to work with here, and he only has 1 more heal after this. So this might actually be his last heal. I wasn't paying too much attention to that. So he's got to get things done here pretty soon. Conqueror staying angled. Is it? Yeah, that should be enough to bounce most of that. Yep. Okay, so there you go. Plunder has swapped on over to Sap, so I can stop thinking about that inside my head now. So there should be some pretty good chunks that you can pull off here on the Conqueror at this point. Friendly team is telling him to just ram the Conqueror, and looks like he's considering doing that. Oh yeah, no, he is out of heals now at this point. Alright, so forward turrets with Sap into the superstructure. That's a nice 26k hit. He's full speed ahead right now. If he can get the ram on him, that will be, you know, a nice... Ooh, double fires. That sucks. If the Lo Yang can go and grab that heal, that might help a little bit. But it looks like, you know, he's either got to do a nice drive-by here, or he's got to ram him up, or chunk Sap into the superstructure there for another, what was that, 15, 16k? And he's going to get the kill here. Oh, the Lo Yang gets him with the torpedo, but he does manage to pump the rear turrets into his broadside. Pop your smoke, my man. Don't let that Alabama see you. He might survive the fight. No, he doesn't. Oh, man. You know, again, you got to get the buffs, right? Okay, so let's see. It's just 1 Alabama left, so surely the team can't fumble this. You know, plus they do have the cap circle, right? So let's see if Plunder's efforts are worth not here. Where's that Mecklenburg at? Okay, Mecklenburg's almost at full HP, but the Lo Yang's pretty low. I mean, they have finally now secured the passive heal, right? And the Alabama just grabbed the last passive heal for his team. So he's got the maximum passive heal going on, and the Lo Yang and the Mecklenburg only have the first one. But I mean, Mecklenburg's pretty terrifying, right? So let's see what happens here. Well, he misses most of his shells. And the Alabama doesn't need to get into that cap, or this is going to be a very short last stand. No, he's not. Is he turning out? He's just selling in a perfectly straight line. Ooh, man, if Mecklenburg had some AP load, that would be some quite good chunks off of the Alabama. But let's see. Yeah, no, this is over with, and the team has won. So that was a nice bit of back and forth. It got really sketchy there in the middle section for sure. I thought for sure the enemy team was going to win this, just because they acquired all the buffs and they're doing pretty well at the start. But you know, it's always nice to see a nice back and forth game. Number 1 is team with 2,900 base XP and 280,000 damage done. A Kraken unleashed, and we got to see how well the new Colombo is doing in today's game. So yeah, a lot of those salvos looked just infinitely better than they were beforehand. And I know, you know, it's only a 0.1 sigma increase, but in like battleship language, that's just a nice pickup, because again, just the nature of battleship gameplay and the big alpha strikes through the shells. So thank you so much for sending that in, Plunder. If you have a replay you'd like to see maybe featured here on the channel, you can send it to the email linked down below. I will be live streaming tomorrow night here on the channel and on Twitch. I'm also working on a pretty big project right now that should be coming out around Saturday, so make sure y'all stick around for that. Hope you guys have a wonderful Friday and wonderful weekend. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.